And we know, of course, today that Anthony Albanese unveiled the wording that will be used for the Voice to Parliament referendum. In case you're the only person in the country who hasn't heard it at this point, this is the wording being read out by Albanese himself.
The question that Australians will be asked at this year's referendum is a very simple one. It will read, a proposed law to alter the Constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice. Do you approve this proposed alteration? That's the question.
Now, we know that this is all about the vibe, and Albanese was setting it up once again as that today and basically suggesting that anyone who doesn't buy into the Voice to Parliament is doing so for nefarious reasons. He said, I respect people's rights to disagree, but I would ask that disagreement not be based on nonsense and not based upon issues that aren't respectful. He also got quite emotional today. Take a look at this.
We didn't acknowledge country. Now we do, and we're richer for it. And we feel, certainly I feel, as the Prime Minister, an incredible responsibility to make a difference.
I mean, he was basically on the verge of tears for half of this announcement, and I can't help feeling that he's basically made it about himself. It's probably not a great surprise that he's made it about himself, because this will make or break his prime ministership, right? Yeah. If it succeeds, he's, you know, the great PM who brought in this great reform to the country, and he'll forever hang his hat on that. If it fails, his prime ministership is toast, and he will have put back the cause of reconciliation in this country a number of decades. No wonder he was so emotional.
Well, you know, he said in his speech, this is not about me, but then he spent 13 minutes with a tremoring bottom lip and a quavering voice, and the headlines today, Elbow fights back tears as he announces referendum question. So it became all about him, and it's Elbow saying, I'm compassionate, I'm caring, I care so much, I'm crying. So if you dare to vote against the Voice, how could you vote against something that moves the Prime Minister himself
it's emotional
to tears?
Blackmail.
Total
It's complete
blackmail.
emotional blackmail. But can I say, what took you so long? This question is so basic. It's just like, this took you months. You've been rabbiting on about this. I don't know what I was expecting, but talk about an anticlimax. But I thought it was sensational news for the No campaign, because essentially this is simply saying, are you okay with us putting the Voice in the Constitution? Again, no understanding of what the Voice is. So in my estimation, this isn't a referendum, this is an IQ test, because who is going to read that, even if they're all hyped up on the vibe at the time, if they read that didactically and just go, well, hang on a second, you're asking me if I'm okay with the Voice, you still haven't told me what the Voice is.
Yeah, but I think it's more of the vibe, though. I think it's riding purely on the vibe, and that's why the question itself asks not, should we put a Voice to Parliament in the Constitution? It asks, should we recognise Aboriginal people by putting a Voice to Parliament?
That's the emotive part, isn't it?
Correct. It ties those two concepts together, as though to say that if you don't agree with the Voice to Parliament, then you don't think there should be any form of recognition for Indigenous people, when in fact they are two very different issues. I think it's all about the vibe.
I'm going to tell you quickly, Elbow's tears did not remind me of the Voice. It reminds me of when I opened my electricity bill.
Hey, has it gone down $275?
There's something to cry about, Albo. We're all crying with you on that one. Mate, you'd be in good company.